And we are live. Hello, I'm Doc Hogg, and this is
Comics and Variety.
No, you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna go through a bunch of stuff. All right.
I am, but I'm interested. Yeah, I'm going through.
I get it. I get it now. I thought there was like an auto reel. All right, I'm wrong. Hi, I am Jeremy Lott. How's it going, guys?
Our boy, Great Lot.
Yes.
And yeah, this is episode 97 of Comics and Variety, our indie comic stream. And let me get a little bit of some comic books that you should be backing out of the way here. All right, let's see. Okay, this is my comic book Tilt. The link to that sign-up page is should be in the description below. But I want to show you all something, okay, folks? This is this here is I want to show you something here. This here, folks, is sad Charles, okay? Charles is very sad when you don't sign up for Tilt, okay? That's sad Charles. Now, this here,
that's me.
Yeah, this here is Happy Charles. Does everyone see Happy Charles? Charles, this is the Charles you get when you do sign up for my comic book Tilt, okay? So which one do we want? Do we want sad Charles here?
No.
Or do we want Happy Charles here?
I'm Happy Charles.
Yes. Can you say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
Okay. All right, you want to go back to your videos? You want to sit here for a little bit?
Sit here for a little bit.
All right, sit here for a little bit. Okay, next up that I need to talk about real quick here is, let's see, get rid of sad Charles there and get rid of Tilt. And the first comic that I have backed recently, here we go. All right. Is Cyber Shock by Aaron Calamari. I know, as you like to call him, Jeremy.
Aaron Octopus.
Okay, he's going to go watch his videos now. Okay, but don't make too much noise. All right. Aaron Calamari, and I gave a promo for this on my last video, and I'm happy to say that I got to read the script. Aaron sent that to me, and one of the best things about this comic book is it has a twist at the end that you really don't see coming. And so Aaron had he had a campaign earlier called gosh, what was it called?
Extractors.
Yes, Extractors, that didn't meet its goal. This time he set the goal lower. He's met it. It's in demand now. But you know, not only did he learn from that campaign, he also, this is a much improved script from Extractors. It's got a great twist at the end that you do not see coming, and that's why you should back this one. And next up we have Grayscale by Michael Derrick. Grayscale, Welcome to Glitter City. I got to see a little bit of a preview of this as well. And frankly, I don't think I can do this, a description of this justice. What I'm going to go to here is a video that, no, that's not the one I want to go to. That is us.
Not that video.
No, hang on.
Grayscale.
And yeah. And
Frankly, I think would. Hey there.
Yeah, here we go. Somebody by the name of who goes by the name of, let's see what, hang on just a second here. Let me get rid of this and add it in here real quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Can you see that, Jeremy?
I can't see anything just yet.
Okay, hang on. Here we go.
There
All
we
right. And let's go over here, and I will bring it up. And basically, a gentleman who goes by the
Did for it.
handle
So,
Giant
here
Meteor
it is.
2020 did
Hey
this
there,
for.
do you like 90s comics?
Yeah.
We're talking Edgelord Extreme. Do you like pouches on pouches, guns on guns? We're talking Rob Liefeld's most like pectoral Captain America you can think of? Then do I have a comic book for you? Why don't you head over to Indiegogo and check out Grayscale? We're talking the superhero so Edgelord 90s, his superpower is karma. And we're talking this thing so bloody that, brother, when you're done reading this, you're gonna need a rag. So do yourself a favor and make sure that when you head over to Indiegogo, you back that book at the best tier that suits you. But always, always make sure to get a physical copy. Because, as the great Stan Lee said, comic books are like boobs. Great to look at on a screen, but better if you got them in your hand. See ya at the Indiegogo.
Yeah, I can't do any better than that. So let's now move on to Cybershock. Okay, let me start by
I couldn't do any better than that either, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Okay, a couple other things here. Just let you know, next week we may or may not be here. I hope to have my colorist for Tilt, Lenore King, working on a poster, but we haven't completely firmed that up yet. But that is tentative. Otherwise, Jeremy and I will be back reviewing some more comics and other general mischief. Okay.
Wait, you could even say we'll be reviewing comics and variety.
You're good. Okay. Next up is this thing here. This thing here, which, yeah, I don't really know what to call that, Jeremy. Macho Dan, who did Hero Blood of Patriots, found this, and I got the link from him, and basically it's going to be part of Cable Deadpool, and
wait. So let me guess what happens here. Cable and Deadpool, they go to a cosplay convention, and this guy is from that convention.
I don't know. I mean, this is what this is. I mean, I don't. This is what androgynous Cable. I don't know. I think I called him the androgenator.
I mean, I guess I would just, yeah. It's just, yeah. I don't know. This is definitely basic Cable. It's not.
I mean, this is terrible. Hey, Macho Dan.
Hey, Macho.
Good to have you in here. I mean, that is awful, and this is one reason why you should be buying indie comics. I mean, keep that in mind when we get to our reviews of Bric-a-Brac, and
Marshall Dan.
What, big guy?
Macho Dan.
Oh, Macho Dan. Macho Dan?
Yeah, he's a Macho Dan.
He's a Macho Dan. Okay, come here. Say hi, Macho Dan.
Hi, Marshall Dan.
All right, but yeah, this is terrible.
That's terrible.
You think of Cable, you think of a guy who,
I mean, I don't. What is he supposed to be though? Is this supposed to be like a?
It's supposed to be Cable.
Well, I understand that. Is he supposed to be a young Cable? Is he like a Cable that like got backwards aged until he's like 13? Or
well, he is supposed to be a young Cable, but I mean, can you imagine that young thing growing into the old Cable with the scars and craggy face? And
well, he's got the scars there, but
battle after battle. I
yeah,
mean,
the thing of it, like old Cable, it looks like he's earned the scars, right?
Yeah.
Here, again, cosplay.
Yeah, all right. Let me get to another one here in just a second. This one, oh my God, I found that this one was on Facebook. I think Brian Urso put this one up. Yeah, that. Now,
What is it though? Is it fan art or is it?
No. This is the woman Claire. Claire Rowe, who is currently doing Fearless for Marvel
Okay.
Comics. This is some art she did, I assume, of Wonder Woman. It
Okay,
looks like
but this is fan art. This is, I mean, I understand she's a pro, but she's a pro doing fan art.
But Jeremy, let me show you what she is doing now for the next comic that she is doing art for, which is Nebula. All right.
Okay.
Hang on here just a second. All
All
right.
right, but I just want to say, just for the record, DC is not employing her.
No, Marvel is.
Okay, yes, I understand. DC usually has artistic standards.
Okay. I'll leave that one. Let that one lie where it is right at the moment. Okay. All right. Here we go. This guys is from the new Nebula.
Cool.
I mean, she drew that for Nebula.
And it's part of the book, or there's a promo?
Yeah, this is what's going to appear in the book. Yeah, it's coming out this month.
Okay, then who's hitching a ride with Nebula there?
Yeah, and this is something else she drew, so you knew that first one is from her.
That's a little better.
A little.
I mean, it's better.
At least they don't look like they have hair on their arms.
Well, I'm just saying it's not great. It's better.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, folks, this is why you should be buying indie comics. Oh, and you know what else today is? Today it is it's National Drink a Glass of Wine Day. Did you know that?
Man. I would have got a glass of wine.
Well, I'm gonna make like Elizabeth Warren. I think I'll have a beer.
Okay.
That's how I celebrate National Wine.
I think she calls it firewater.
Oh, that's bad, but I like it. All right, let me find a coin here. Coin. Why don't we do? Nah, never mind.
We don't have to do a coin. We could actually just do the gorilla one first.
Oh, you want to do the gorilla one first?
I'll tell you why, because it would make an interesting contrast with the Cable thing we just saw.
All righty.
Like Cable is supposed to be badass. What we just saw was not badass.
No.
Whatever qualms I have with Six Gun Gorilla, and there are some, it is badass.
All right. Here is the cover of Six Gun Gorilla by Brian Kriskow, and the artist is Adrian. I think it's Cybar, but I don't know if it's Cyber or Sieber.
Yeah, but the cover artist is different.
Okay. But that is some damn good cover art. I like that.
It is very good cover art. And it's also like you're not going to see this inside the comic. It's not as good inside. But it's it kind of reminds me of like a Western style, like a paperback, how there are echoes of that and what you can see on the cover here. Yeah. And they say in the materials with this that it's actually based on a character that's in public domain called Six Gun Gorilla they're not sure who the author was.
Yeah, they found it in some I think it was some pulp novel fiction novel thing, that happened, back in the 1930s, and there's no name attached to it. But, I don't know how much it's actually based on the story, which would be interesting to know. But oh, this is a good one. Young Cable went back in time and killed adult Cable and turned SJW. Yes, he did. At any rate, I love this. This is some great cover art. I mean, you've got it shows you who the main character is, what's gonna, a gorilla with a Clint Eastwood with fur, basically. And then below, he's down there, he's driving a stagecoach. He's obviously part of some team. Then you've got the rocks in the background. Just everything says Western about it. It's lovely cover art.
Well, it's cover art that makes you want to either own this or at the very least take a closer look. So it succeeds at cover art.
Yes, it is. It is very, very good. All right, let's take a look at. Well, let's just start with the with page 1 here. This is part of page 1. This is the beginning where enlarge it a little bit. No, I don't want to do that. This is the beginning where basically this baby gorilla, his whole family is wiped out except for him.
Yeah, a bunch of I guess are they game hunters or poachers?
I
think they're game hunters.
Not 100% clear. I mean,
one of the guys is like a like a lord or something, so I'm gonna guess they're game hunters.
Hey Charles, why don't you go get the thing of juice and bring it over here so I can stay on screen. But yeah, bring those over. Yeah, so I don't know whether it was game hunters or poachers. This guy down in the lower left corner looks like a game hunter, but either way. All right, let's move to
a bunch of hunters go into like the Congo in Africa, and then they wipe out a whole family, the gorillas, and there's one baby that's still alive, and they decide to take it back with them. And that character will become Six Gun Gorilla at some point. What we're seeing right now is there's a game of cards between the guy who got the gorilla and this other guy, and this other guy wins the gorilla in cards is what happens. And as you'll find out that he basically raises this gorilla and finds out that it's very smart and basically raises it as a son.
Yes. And teaches it actually to be the main attraction in their traveling circus. Main attraction being that he knows how to shoot 6 guns, which is we later find out that the main character, the female character Abigail, she actually has a brother. I think that was the priest at the end.
No.
Was it a cousin?
No. Okay. There's some relation. Yeah. Okay. So the original 6-shooter, there was a guy who was the shooter in their act, and he taught 6 Gun Gorilla how to shoot. But they, of course, had to manufacture much bigger guns for this gorilla.
Yes, guns that are almost like howitzers.
Yeah.
Hang on, now I want to find the one big. This is the one big problem I had with 6 Gun Gorilla here, and let me find it. Yes, here we go. Okay. One massive mistake. Okay. All right. Okay. You know where this is going, don't you? Now, this guy says that he has aces full and he loses to 4 queens. Now, 4 queens does beat aces full, but you'll notice in the hand here how many aces are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 aces beat 4 queens. That is not aces full. That is 4 of a kind. That is 4 aces.
Yeah, so they use the wrong terminology there.
That is my biggest problem. Brian, if you're listening, you need to hire me as an advisor next time.
Yeah. Like if it deals with the gambling, get a hold of Doc and say, did I get that right? Get that right?
All righty, let's get rid of that. Had some fun there. I'll just say that overall, I liked the story of 6 Gun Gorilla. I thought it was really, it's kind of a classic Western revenge tale.
Yeah.
It reminds me of one of the Clint Eastwood movies that he was doing in the early 70s, the Man with No Name.
The spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, but the Man with No Name ones. I want to say it was, I can't remember, I think it was for a few dollars more, where he comes back to get revenge on, I think it was the brother sheriff who, it's very much like that. And it's really, I mean, he took a solid story and stuck a gorilla in it, added a few little different features like the circus, but it works. I mean, the story itself works very, very well.
Yeah.
I really was happy. Now here's the man who, you know, takes in the gorilla. He's the ringmaster of a traveling circus. I thought that there was pretty good art. You know, it's just it really, it looks very grand. He's big. It's, you know, opening up into the big tent. I like that art.
The art is very inconsistent. When it's doing big things, it often does them well. Often he'll pay more attention when they're doing big things to details. When you're doing more of the minutia stuff, the littler details, it just depends. Some of it got finished fairly well. Some of it didn't get finished as well. And I'll add the caveat that I've only seen this in digital. It's shipping right now, right?
Yeah. I've seen it in digital too.
And even though this is a monster of a gorilla of a file, you could say, I'm not sure it's at full resolution. Because it's also 150 pages, and it's possible my complaint does not apply when you actually see the finished pages, but they haven't arrived yet. So, you know, my sense is that there's still going to be some finishing problems.
Hello, Hydrogen One. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I look forward to actually getting the hard copy as well. But you know, on balance, I really did like this comic. It was a fun read. Alrighty, let's
and it's 150 pages long, and it reads fast.
Here is the gorilla. Yes, it did read very fast. Here's the gorilla doing some shooting. You want to make a comment or two on that art?
It's good. I mean, from what I can see, it looks good.
Yeah.
Again, when they're doing grand things, they often do them well. It's the smaller things that don't get done as well.
Okay, let's see what I got up next here. Here is the he's sort of part of the MacGuffin here. This is the Italian Guillermo. He's trying to escape. He's
Italian German because his name is like Guillermo Schmidt or something.
Yeah, Italian German. He's part of the Union Army, and I think he seems to be like a spy or something. And he's found something. It's not entirely. It was never entirely clear to me what he had found.
It's a weapon. It's
something.
Plans for a weapon that could shift the Civil War.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was. I mean, it's just kind of a classic MacGuffin. It drives the story, but you don't always need to know exactly what it is.
Yeah, but, I'm a little bit more. I mean, they explained, I think, enough. I mean, I guess we should say that at the end of this, there's still more to come, right? It's not self-contained, and so my sense is that this is a long spool out of this. You know, you'll learn a little bit more as it goes on.
Now, here's some of the villains. I'm not sure. I'm kind of mixed on this. I mean, I think there is a fair amount of detail in that face there. And granted, this is just, you know, the page for the beginning of a chapter, but
bigger, grander stuff. He did a better job. This would be an example of that.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to see a little more detail of some of the villains in the back, but this is the basic villains. Okay. All right. Here is where they've rescued the Italian. They've has kind of stumbled onto the circus. They've rescued him. They healed him up. He actually doesn't get along with the gorilla at the beginning.
No.
He just wakes up and the gorilla's there and he's scared to death of him. You know, who wouldn't be? And clearly doesn't get along with the gorilla. This is the main female character, Abigail, who is the gorilla's sister, is daughter of the ringmaster. And this in itself is not a bad scene, although you know, not a ton of detail, though, you know, as there is in some other ones. But that's all right. It's just, you know, they're just, it's kind of explaining who everyone is.
I think they've set up, I think in this case, you can see enough detail to kind of get everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, this strikes me as fine.
Okay. All right. Next page here okay, here's the MacGuffin. Here's the plans, the The dad has taken him off the Italian, Guillermo, and the plans. They've got the Italian was stabbed, so that's what the little slash is in the plans there. And yeah, it's a fine scene, not bad.
Yeah. So again, the detail of the Italian there in the second panel isn't great.
Yeah. Okay. Here is one thing that I really didn't like, and that is that the villain just comes right in and kills the dad, kills the ringmaster.
Yeah.
This is related to something I very much did like about the story, but it's like, you like the dad, and it would have been nice to him trying to go out a little more heroically than the villain just coming in and shooting everyone, which is, what they do. They want to eliminate, everyone who
knows
is in any way associated with the Italian, but it just kind of pops up at you. Seems a little disjointed a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing about I agree that I liked him, the dad, and would have liked to see more of him. But I will say it also tells you something very important about the villain, and that he's reckless.
Yes.
Not violent. And that becomes a very major plot point as this book progresses.
What I do like about this scene is the gorilla seeing it here, because he's already lost one family.
Yeah.
Now he's about to almost lose. He's part of another. He doesn't lose his entire family. The sister survives, but the dad is gone. He sees that.
Yeah.
There's going to be this tension between, and that's something else I like about the story, between revenge and, we'll see here in a minute what that tension is, but you definitely know why the gorilla is very much on the side of revenge and taking these guys out, because he's seen just a senseless murder twice. So
yeah, I'll also point out that there's something that there's a perspective problem with this panel that isn't a problem, in the sense that technically the way that they've set the shot up, it couldn't actually happen this way. But this is the thing that comics can do, is it can bring things into different contrast where that's technically wrong, but it still works.
Why don't I elaborate on that a little bit, because that's interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the point of, like, this is one panel, right? And him looking out of the cage and seeing this, it would be much smaller. They've made it much bigger in order to show you what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And like, they run together, right? But technically, I believe that the cage is on the other side. I could be wrong, but my point is that this is entirely stylized, and it's a way of showing you his reaction in real time as it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All righty. Let's move on. Here is the gorilla basically getting ready to. Basically, he's. Oh man! Now this is well after. He's just entered the saloon to eliminate the bad guys, and
this panel is weird.
Yeah, it is, because it's supposed to be very dramatic. He's walking in.
Yeah. And this is an example of what I talked about, how you can cheat perspective, but I don't think they cheated it very well in this case.
Yeah. And there's no detail. It's just all white.
Yeah.
And
I understand why you do that, because you're trying to call attention to something, but just this composition just looks bad to me.
Yeah. It would be nice if you had something here, the detail filling in the white was, something foreboding, like a very dark background, because
like a dark red or something, or I don't know. Something.
There's a mass killing that's about to happen here. So
yeah.
All right. Okay, here is one of the fights. The fight scenes, I actually thought he did pretty well. You can see the gorilla hiding behind the table here. I'll enlarge it a little bit. The gorilla hiding behind the table, taking some fire, firing back. Overall, pretty good.
I agree. Did you notice the one gaping error?
No, I did not.
Okay, in one of the we may not have grabbed this, but in one panel, he's got both guns in his holster and he's holding a third gun in his hand.
All right.
And then you soon see him reholstering that gun. You know.
Well, those things.
Yeah.
happen.
No, I mean it's like in Game of Thrones where somebody left a Starbucks cup in the scene. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in Tilt. I mean, I got my inks, and as I sent out an email today saying that page 1, the ink, the guy in the middle is holding up a cigar. When we colored it in, though, it looked like the cigar was coming out of the guy's ears, and it didn't work when it was colored. So I just had Lenore color over it black. So
yeah,
okay, yeah,
that's
here he is.
That's what Bob Ross would call a happy accident.
Yeah. Happy tree, happy gorilla, not happy gorilla.
Unhappy gorilla, pissed off gorilla about to blow your head off.
Yeah, and this is kind of the interesting scene, is these bystanders are now trying to talk him out of doing this, and he ends up. It's an interesting scene and kind of disturbing in that his rage overflows onto a group here who's not at all involved in his dad in the murder of his dad. So, I think, and at the end, he gets cut by one of the by one of the bystanders, but and he's grabs his wound and then looks at his hand like he's got blood on his hands.
Yeah, and he realized, this is significant. What I just said.
Yeah, I really like this scene here, and it was just really well done. Kind of, that the rage that comes along with revenge can, as justified as the revenge might be, the rage that comes along with revenge can spill over into something that, is not righteous, not just,
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, here is the bad guy, the remaining bad guy, the leader, talking with Lord. I have his name on the thing, Lord Chilbane, and I think the bad guy's name was Gravesend.
Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah, and basically the Italian Guillermo had stolen these plans from this Lord Chilbane here, and this is a pretty nice panel. I mean, the detail on the characters is pretty good. A little, we could use a little more on the face of Chilbane here, but I like how the desk is set up. He's having wine. But again, there's no background. If this is a study, why not some bookcases and some books in the background?
Yeah.
Chilbane's supposed to be this very debonair, type of man. Why not, wealthy? Show that a little bit in the background.
Yeah, I don't like his face there. Chilbane's face. The rest of it, I agree. It could have used with more detail. But and I think this is what I was talking about, where the smaller things just didn't get as much detail.
Well, let me get to the main thing that you wanted here. This is the page that you asked for here. So let's analyze. In fact, I think I'll just let you analyze this one.
Okay. Now, I will say that again, we're looking at PDFs that it may be that the physical is more detailed than what was able to render here. And if that's the case, great. But if not, you have a scene that's very emotional. And if you look at the some of the details here, they're just not fleshed out, especially with him holding the, could you just focus on him holding the girl just as close as you can on that? Right. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like, you don't see enough of her. I mean, you see the outline, but it just doesn't. You don't get enough, I don't think, to really drive the emotional point home.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. And I didn't really. I guess I didn't pay enough attention to that the first time around. But now that you mention it, I mean that's a good point. So. Alrighty. Why don't we just go to the final page here of this, and which I will just do this real quick, and then we'll get on to Bric-a-Brac.
Okay.
And here is the Italian, and they are at this point they have been attacked by the Gravesend and a new band of thugs that he's gotten, and they've captured Abigail. They're bringing them back to Chilblain's castle, and it ends with the two of them planning an assault on the castle. That's not a bad ending page. I mean, I like the art there. Not bad detail in Guillermo's face. Certainly tons of detail on the gorilla. You know, it looks very Western-like in the background. You know, that's not a bad ending. I mean, I like that as an ending page.
They did a good job of queuing it up.
Yeah. The only other thing I had about this comic was there was a few parts that seemed a little disjointed. Like, how did the gorilla find the thugs when he murdered them? How did he know where to find them? And then when Gravesend goes back to Chilblain, gets more, you know, men to buy more, you know, resources or more money to buy, you know, pay for more thugs. How does he know where to find the gorilla and the Italian and Abigail?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you know, okay, granted, you have to move the story along. You don't have the conflict if they don't find each other. But there has to be a little something in there, like Gravesend says, look, I guarantee you this is where they're heading, and we have to catch them, but this is what I need, you know.
Yeah.
You might be experienced enough in this area of the country that you would buy it. You know,
yeah. The former thing that you talked about, how does he find them? They were in the town close to where they burned the thing, and they talked about the town people being scared of them. So I think they did sort of cover that one. But
okay,
yeah, the latter one, you have a point.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, let's move on now to Bric-a-Brac, A Christmas Story here.
Again, I should say that we do not have physicals of this. We have it in PDF.
No, I have.
You bastard. No, I don't have it yet.
You might want to contact him because I've had this for like 2-3 weeks now. You know, I might get to the list. Are you sure? Maybe
I tend to get these things last. Like everybody else.
Maybe your daughter's been using it as a teething sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. There's a reason I have my comics sent to a different address.
What do you think about this cover?
I like it. You know, it makes you want to find out more about it.
Yeah.
I like that. And one of the things I really like, I like the artwork in this comic. What's his first name? His last name is Sam.
Hang on a second. I can find out here. It is Raphael Sam, and it's written by Ryan Hack.
Yeah. So it was written by a hack writer. Yeah, I mean, I consistently like the artwork, and I consistently like the coloring. And you've seen now you can be the judge. Is the way that this is represented digitally, is it close to what you see physically?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a little better up close physically. You know, the colors pop off the page a little better physically.
Yeah.
And I love the coloring in this comic book. It is. I mean, I don't know whether it was Raphael in letter or in design. I assume Sam did the coloring as well. And it is just a phenomenal job. I mean, it is very, very rich.
Yeah.
Really nicely done.
And I like it, the color palette that he used too. One of the things I hate about a lot of modern coloring is it's like Ronald Reagan talked about pale pastels as being an insult. And I kind of think that's how I think of a lot of modern coloring. There's these very, I don't know, very pale, like things that don't pop. And I'm okay with usually with flats or with blended colors as long as it pops. Or I don't care which one it is, as long as it really gets you on the nose. And this one really does.
Okay, let's move to oh, whoops, no, that is, hang on here. Have the covers together. I will have this actually pretty well organized overall for this time, but let's go to the opening page here. Organize it even a little better next time. All righty. Okay. This is the opening page, and I'm a little ambivalent on this. I have to say, I
Describe your ambivalence to me.
pardon.
Describe your ambivalence to me.
Well, it's just it's an opening page, and it just doesn't say wow to me. Okay,
Yeah.
it's introducing the story. Okay, the coloring is really good. Okay, but even if you're not going to do an opening splash page, which is fine. I mean, a lot of comics don't. It's just I'd like to. I think it would be better. Look, if you're going to have this war on planet Christmas, as they have, maybe start it with a war scene and then back up to the beginning on the next page or something.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't grab me. It
Okay.
the story fine, but nothing really grabs me on it.
There's some genre problems with what you're saying, I think, in the sense that this is an all ages thing. And generally speaking, you don't start an all ages thing by dropping an audience in the middle of a war.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying this is how it should have been set up, but I'm just saying you kind of do a little more hand holding with all ages stories.
All right, fair enough. Okay, let's move to the next page here. This is the Nutcracker Army coming in and invading, basically.
Yeah. Some of in the exposition boxes, I can't read it on your screen, but some of it was really funny to me. Like I was laughing pretty hard at some of it.
Hi, you want to come over here and sit?
Yeah, here, yeah. Go up to the top back. Go up to the top. Okay, the top, and then here we go. Led by, what does it say?
Fearless General Almond. The Nutcrackers only want one thing: world
domination. I love that. It's great. It's a fun setup.
With me to evacuate the resource, excavate the resource.
Yeah.
That's all right, Charles.
One of the things that I was there, so the Nutcrackers have these things that they're using, and I initially thought, based on what they do, that it was like a vacuum type thing.
Yeah.
But as you go along, it doesn't seem to be the case. But so I think that there wasn't enough consistency in the coloring of what they're doing there.
Yeah. Okay. Here is the page that I uploaded that you definitely wanted to, where the Nutcrackers got Garrett here, the main character.
Yeah.
And is dragging him along. And there is this, well, you want to talk about this scene right here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Doc, one of Doc's, when we talked about this beforehand, one of his complaints about this is that it's too choppy, and it just doesn't do enough. Like the story doesn't do enough of, just it introduces one thing and then another, and it doesn't do enough job connecting things or preparing you for things. And I think that's true. That's a valid criticism. But there's the problem. There's a storytelling problem in the sense that there's this world in the background that the writer is trying to communicate, and it's not always easy to do that. And you have to make certain leaps along the way, and sometimes they're going to work, and sometimes they aren't. And this one really worked for me, and it really didn't for Doc. So, like, he's getting.
No, not this one. I didn't have a problem with this.
Oh,
one.
I thought you did. Okay.
No, it made perfect sense because this is the sugar plum that the mom gave him as they're being invaded.
Okay. Yeah.
If
I didn't even pick up on her giving it to him. All right. I
didn't have a problem with it. No, it was a few pages after. I actually thought the first half, the story flowed very nicely. Okay. I mean, you could follow.
I actually missed the sugar plum handoff, so that's
yeah.
No,
so mother handed this to him, and I knew what it was. What's up, buddy? Yeah, big guy.
So I'm wrong about this, but just imagine that you, the reader, are just reading this, and you didn't catch it earlier, and the comic tells you Garrett only had one option. He ate the sugar plum.
Yeah.
Now that's awesome.
Yeah. All righty. Now here is kind of where the disjoining starts. I mean, he's gotten away from the Nutcrackers here.
Yeah.
And you know, they're trying. This army has come. I can't remember the name of the army that is actually fighting the Nutcrackers. I don't know. Was it the Sugar Plum Fairy Army or something?
I don't know. The resistance.
They have dragons. Again,
the true spirit of Christmas army. I don't know.
I like that. I mean, there's a lot of nice detail here.
Yeah, I don't know how you got Christmas dragons, but I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, I like it too. But then, you know, Garrett got dizzy. He can only hear the distant fire. And then out of nowhere comes this female woman character to save him. A miracle happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's again, it's one of these things like, how do I get from here to there? Then a miracle happened.
Yeah. Why is she not in the battle? Why is she rescuing him? You know, what is she doing here? I mean, you know, and he doesn't really need to be rescued because he's, you know, looks like he's a good, you know, 100 or 200 yards away from the battle. No one's interested in him. So, but
they could have still got him with random fire.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there could have been something there, but you know, she just kind of comes out of nowhere, and she does play a pretty integral part. But here's the next thing. She takes him to is this Christmas City? Something like that.
Yeah.
And there is this training facility where they're training the armies that fight against the Nutcrackers.
Yeah. And take that, Nutcracker. But come on, I mean, take that, Nutcracker.
Okay. Yeah, that is good. I like that. But then you know, deck the halls. That's good too. Look at that. Hey, let me show everyone. Come here, buddy. Come here. All right, this is my 3-year-old, of whom I'm very proud, and we're going to show this to everyone. He drew an A all by himself.
Okay, I thought he was going to draw Kid Cable.
Well, he can probably do better than some of the mainstream comic book artists these days. So
I'll show you some more tricks.
Okay, well, why don't you draw them, and Jeremy and I'll keep talking about this comic here.
Good.
And yeah, you know, all of a sudden, I mean, he's missing now. She's showing him around, and he's missing, and then okay, and she finds him, you know, in the city here. And
Christmas time is here.
I can see him.
No, you can't. What did you draw now? An eye?
There.
Okay.
I'll show more.
Okay, you do that. Yeah, it's kind of, now he's off here, and then, you know, it gets a little more disjointed toward the end. They're now off to find Father Christmas. Something called the Speeder, which looks like a snowmobile. And I'll say this one thing about the art that I didn't like is represented in this page here.
I can see that.
When they go real small like that, it doesn't, you know, there's no detail. And look, I'm fine with you doing that a few times. I mean, look, you got to worry about printing costs. You have to save on.
Well, but also just when it comes to arting, to drawing, it's hard to draw in miniature. I get that, you know, and so I'm willing to make some allowances for it, but you know, kind of try to meet me halfway. And in most cases in this comic, they did. I don't think they did in that panel.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of War of the Realms. You remember that Marvel one? And hang on, buddy. I'll let Daddy finish the sentence. War of the Realms had tons of these small little panels because they were trying to shove so much into 6 issues, each issue not being much more than 20 pages. And you got so much of it, it was like, God, you know. And it feels like there's a few too many of these panels in there. And kind of like,
I will say that you're focusing on it. If you pull the focus out, I think the coloring makes up for some of it. I'll just say that.
All right.
And like the panel next to it, not so bad.
No, the panel next to it, I mean, it's pretty good. Okay, then, all right, and they end up at this is
Hey,
this is
Daddy!
all right.
I didn't know where the eye and the Big egg and a big egg.
All right. He's learning to write his name, so we'll do this.
No, Ben's name.
Oh, Ben. Well, that's not how Ben spells his name. But
Boy.
let's see. We have an A and an H and an I underneath that.
Ahi.
3 years old.
You can totally eat that.
How about
I mean,
you
you're probably not into sushi though, right, kid?
go watch your videos for a few minutes? Let Daddy finish this.
We're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done, buddy.
Can you help me write Ben's name?
Yes, I will do that when I'm done here. Okay, is that all right? All right.
And then I'll take you out for sushi.
And now they're at the North Pole, Santa Claus or Father Christmas, and then after that, you go inside and there's General Almond or General Tchaikovsky. Okay, General Almond's brother was inside demanding a peaceful meeting with Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Which how did he already get in there? Okay, I mean that's never really explained. It doesn't have to be explained there, but I don't remember him ever explaining it in the comic.
Well, I think it's a surprise though. They get there and they're like, oh crap.
Okay. All right. Let's move on then to and then Santa Claus is getting away here. And we think he gets away, even though they're shooting at him.
How low can you get shooting at Santa Claus?
Yeah.
But I mean, those nutcrackers, they just want world domination.
Yeah. So, and then next page again. This was something just a little disjointed. I mean, they're gonna sneak. Well, I guess not disjointed. It just kind of bothered me because they're gonna sneak in now to Santa Claus's castle, and they're gonna do it by running around the guards who supposedly aren't very bright and aren't paying any attention to the Nutcracker.
I'm talking about Santa.
Well, it's part of this story here, bud.
Don't talk.
So they're trying to get at the Christmas element or something.
Yeah, and
Santa?
no, Santa's not coming around for another 10 months, buddy.
Yep.
Sorry.
Don't talk to Nana like that. Don't talk to Santa. He's good.
He is good. You shouldn't be mean to Santa. So, yeah, and this is just the end. No more war. What will happen next? Find out.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it was just kind of the Partridge will take a letter to Christmasville. I'll tell the commanders to send troops here. No more war.
Yeah, and then you're like, what will happen next? Will his outbursts matter, or will Father Christmas get shot down? Who knows?
So, I just overall with this comic, it's certainly a very interesting idea. It's a comic for all ages. A lot of the art, a lot of the coloring, especially, is really good. And the first half flowed really well. Second half, just too many disjointed parts. It's like you're just jumping around, and there's not there's the transitions are kind of lacking.
My sense is that he had to compress a lot of stuff, and this is what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
It's and it's tough because if people know the background to this comic, it got fully funded on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
But part of the funding was that one big funder put up, I don't know, let's say $1,000. It was a significant amount of money. Then this campaign ended and they went to collect, and his credit card, bounced. And they said, well, try that again, and it bounced again, and then the campaign was only partially funded at that point. Now, that is, by the way, routinely on Kickstarter, because they don't take the money up front. A lot of people will throw in their credit cards, and there's a percentage. I'm going to guess the average is like 10%. That just ends up not, you don't get that.
Yeah, another not to do Kickstarter, I guess.
Sure, I mean, or you can just factor in that, like, whatever it says, I'll get 90% of that. Yeah. But in this case, they said, no, we're not going to let you continue with this campaign. They canceled the campaign. They gave the money back to everyone. And you know, I thought that was despicable. You know, especially with like if let's say this had happened on Indiegogo, right? And for some reason, you know, there was a late pledge that didn't work, and it was a fixed goal. I honestly, I think Indiegogo would just say no big deal. But if they did say that it was a problem, you know, and we got to refund this, then you could just launch another campaign and tell people what happened. With Kickstarter, you cannot relaunch the same failed campaign. So now you can launch something that's a little different, that still contains elements of it, but for all intents and purposes, they blew him right out of the water on this one. And so he had.
So Kickstarter, you have a failed campaign you want to try. Kickstarter won't let you do it again, but
yeah. So that he went over to Indiegogo, and he was just gonna offer that to people as, hey, I know some people like Indiegogo and some people like Kickstarter, and then all of a sudden it became really important for that to fund on Indiegogo, and it did, and more than funded. But that's sort of the creative, the background behind getting this comic produced, is that you had a thousands of dollars rug being ripped out from under him that he had to scramble to try to deal with, and that's just sort of the financial reality of creating indie comics these days.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they have no you know, Kickstarter doesn't seem to have trouble with, you know, Zoe Quinn's Chuck Tingle adventure that, you know, funded for like $80K, and you know, she never produced anything.
Well, I mean, I will say that they've gotten a little bit better about not letting people do for future campaigns if they are ridiculously delinquent with their old campaigns.
Yeah, okay, but all righty. Well, I think that's pretty much going to end it for now. Like I said, next week I am hoping to have Lenore King on here doing the poster for Tilt, but that is tentative at this point. If not, Jeremy and I will be back to review another indie comic. Anything else, Jeremy?
Live long and go like this.
Okay. Prosper, yes. All right. Thanks, man.
All right. I'll see you.